I used to think that if something ever went wrong in my marriage, I would feel it in some dramatic way, like a sudden explosion, a screaming match, or a door slammed so hard it cracked the frame. I didn't expect betrayal to arrive quietly, disguised as a Tuesday evening, carrying groceries and asking me if I wanted chicken or salmon for dinner. I'm a 38-year-old man, married for 11 years, 2 kids, Evan, 9, and Lily, 6. We live in a neat little suburb outside of Columbus, Ohio. Vinyl siding, 2-car garage, HOA that complains about trash cans left out too long. The American Dream Starter Pack. I work in corporate finance for a regional manufacturing company. My wife, Claire, 36, works in HR for a mid-sized tech firm downtown. From the outside, our life was perfect. Not Instagram perfect, but real perfect. The kind where you're exhausted but proud. We had a 401k, a college fund started for the kids, a dog that shed everywhere, and Thanksgiving dinners where my dad drank too much bourbon and told the same stories every year. We hosted Christmas because we had the biggest dining table. We talked about remodeling the kitchen. We talked about maybe buying a lake house someday. I believed in us. The first crack wasn't dramatic either. It was a feeling, a low-grade anxiety that sat in my chest and wouldn't move. Claire started guarding her phone like it was classified information. She used to leave it face up on the counter. Now it was always face down, always on silent. If I walked into the room, the screen went dark instantly. Then there were the late meetings. HR is notorious for emergencies, but these weren't seasonal. They were constant. She'd come home smelling like a different soap. Not perfume, just not her. She stopped asking me about my day. She stopped touching me, even casually. When I kissed her goodbye in the mornings, she turned her head just enough that it landed on her cheek. I told myself I was paranoid. Midlife insecurity, stress, too much Reddit. The real red flag came from our joint checking account. I do the finances, always have. One Saturday morning, coffee in hand, kids watching cartoons, I noticed a $184 charge from a restaurant downtown. A steakhouse, upscale. We hadn't been there in over a year. I asked her about it casually that night. Oh, she said too quickly, work dinner. Team bonding thing. I nodded, but my stomach didn't. Over the next 2 months, there were more charges. Hotels, not chains near the office, boutique places. Parking garages downtown on weekends. She said she was visiting a friend. And one charge that made my hands actually shake. A jewelry store. $1,200. Not for me. Not for our anniversary. Not in my house. The night everything collapsed was unremarkable. Cold November rain. The kids were asleep. Claire was in the shower. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. I didn't plan to look. I swear I didn't. I just glanced and saw the name, Mark W. No last name emoji, no hearts, just a name and a preview that said, I miss waking up next to you. The sound of the shower felt deafening. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I might pass out. My hands moved on their own. I picked up the phone. Face ID failed because my hands were shaking. But she disabled the lock at home so the kids could use it for games. The thread was endless. Months, maybe longer. Photos, inside jokes, plans, complaints about me, screenshots of my texts, dissected like I was a case study in inadequacy. And one message that burned itself into my brain. I wish I'd married you instead. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the wall while the shower shut off. I remember noticing the smell of her shampoo, how normal it was. How cruelly normal. When she walked out wrapped in a towel, smiling, I felt something inside me die quietly. I didn't confront her. I just said I had a headache and went to sleep. I lay there all night, staring at the ceiling, listening to her breathe, wondering how long I'd been sleeping next to a stranger. Update. I didn't confront her. Not because I'm weak, but because I needed the truth. All of it. The next morning, I took a sick day. Dropped the kids at school like everything was normal. I sat in my car in the parking lot for almost an hour, just breathing. My hands smelled like the steering wheel and stale coffee. I felt hollow. I went home and logged into our shared iCloud. Claire was sloppy. I found deleted photos, location history, calendar entries disguised as yoga or team sync. Mark W. wasn't just a coworker. He was a director, older, married, 2 teenagers, lived in a wealthy suburb 20 minutes from us. I found his full name easily. And then, his wife, Emily W. I stared at her Facebook profile for a long time. Family photos, smiling kids, vacation pictures. She looked kind, the kind of woman who sends handwritten thank you cards. I debated for days. Was I about to ruin another person's life? Or save it? I finally messaged her from a burner account. Short, direct. I believe our spouses are having an affair. I'm sorry. I have proof if you want to talk. She replied 3 hours later. I've suspected something for a year. Please call me. We met at a coffee shop halfway between our houses. December cold, gray sky, the kind of day where everything feels muted. She recognized me instantly. We hugged without thinking. 2 strangers bound by the same nightmare. Emily was 41, calm on the surface, shaking underneath. She'd noticed the same things. The late nights, the guarded phone, the emotional absence. We compared evidence. It was worse than either of us imagined. The affair had been going on for over 2 years. Vacations disguised as conferences. A joint credit card Mark had hidden. And the darkest part, Mark had helped Claire maneuver internal policies to get promotions and bonuses she didn't deserve. HR violations, financial fraud. They weren't just cheating. They were building a life together on stolen ground. We made a plan, not revenge, exposure, legally, cleanly, completely, no screaming, no threats, just truth. Update 2. We chose Christmas, not out of cruelty, but because everyone would be there. Claire's company holiday party was at a downtown hotel ballroom. Formal, +1s encouraged. Emily and I coordinated silently. I watched Claire get ready that night. The dress she wore for him. The same one from the photos. At the party, Mark was already there. Smiling, confident, untouchable. We waited. When the CEO took the stage to give a speech about ethics and integrity, Emily stepped forward. She handed the CEO a folder. Then I did the same. The room shifted. Quiet murmurs. Security. Claire looked at me. Really looked at me. Her face drained of color. I know, I said calmly. No yelling. No tears. Just facts. Emails. Transactions. Photos. Hotel receipts. Mark tried to speak. No one listened. They were escorted out separately. Claire didn't come home that night. Final update. The divorce was brutal but efficient. Ohio is a no-fault state, but evidence matters for assets. Claire lost her job. Mark lost his. The company pressed charges. The house was sold. I kept custody. The kids know the truth in an age-appropriate way. 6 months later, my life is quieter. Smaller, but honest. Sometimes, late at night, I still hear the shower running in my head. Still smell her shampoo, but it doesn't crush me anymore. Emily and I stayed friends. Trauma does that. I don't believe in karma like magic. I believe in consequences. And healing isn't about forgetting. It's about remembering who you were before someone convinced you that you weren't enough, and choosing to become that person again.